Well, tonight's debate is to be awarded to the team with the greatest knowledge of Forest Hills, and then the Eagle team surely wins. Fiona Prowse is our third speaker for the Affirmative. Like Damien, Fiona and I have still Facebook friends in common, though I'm reasonably confident Kevin Rudd is actually her friend. I know he's not mine. In fact, last time I checked, he didn't have any friends at all. I think I once heard Benki Moon describe him as a close acquaintance. Classic diplomat. Judging from her publicly available Facebook profile pictures, Fiona changes her hair colour a lot. She loves beer. She considers that a yellow tea cozy is acceptable headwear. And she's clearly putting the social back into media one party at a time. So while she's not stalking Geelong football club players and almost being eaten by hippos, she is slaying all before her in the world of debating. She's been ranked in the top 10 speakers in the World Debating Championships 3 times, and she won that competition this year. She's also, of course, an Australasian debating champion. She told me earlier tonight that Heckle is her middle name, so to conclude the case, please give a very warm welcome to Fiona Heckle Prowse.
Thanks for that introduction. I don't know if my parents were more upset by the references to beers or hippos or the fact that I'm friends with Kevin Rudd on Facebook. So thanks for that. I think you kind of really confirmed why social networking is out of control. The fact that you could find that much information about me on the internet is firstly something I need to look at when I get home. Secondly, it just demonstrates what strange creeps on the internet can do if they really put their minds to it. And so I think that just actually supports what we're saying on Gen Y here. So, I mean, this is quite a different debate to the last debate which I did. The main differences are, firstly, this is in Australia and not Botswana. Secondly, this doesn't seem to be a military base that has pet zebras. Thirdly, it's not 40 degrees here. And finally, I'm not proposing to invade Zimbabwe whilst that is streamed via Twitter and Facebook into Zimbabwean homes. And I understand that there probably aren't too many TVs going around Zimbabwe with people especially glued to them. But the point of that is that social networking ruined my holiday when I was at this last debate in Botswana. Because the fact that that debate was streamed into Zimbabwe meant that I couldn't go across Victoria Falls on my safari to go and stand on the other side of Zimbabwe and buy some inflated currency. I mean, firstly, that's not a first world problem, I don't know what is, but secondly, it betrays the fact that what's different about social networking to just a crappy anti-Volt article or a bad business idea article is the scale of it. And that's what hasn't been appreciated by the negative old people team, kind of respectful, in this debate. And they said, social networking is free, and therefore, because freedom of speech also has the word free in it, we win the debate. I mean, lots of stuff is free. That dodgy food that they sell in the supermarkets that has me over the toilet for a couple of hours being sick is free, but that doesn't mean that that necessarily is a good thing. I'm going to look at 3 ideas in my speech. I'm firstly going to ask the question whether social networking is just inevitable, whether we should just deal with it, whether the young people here need to get with the program. Secondly, I'm going to look at whether it is as entertaining as they might have found it. And if you want to have a Perez Hilton gossip off, bring it afterwards, because I assure you no one is more tragic than I am when it comes to that. And finally, I'm going to look at this idea of kind of greater utility. So even if it was inevitable, even if it was entertaining, is there a utility here? So firstly, we've been told that us young people, we need to get with the program, because this is a debate versus adults and children, and at the end of the day, social networking is the domain of young people. Well, firstly, I'd just like to point out, I'm unsure where our moderator plays in that child versus adult spectrum. Just have a look at his baby face there. Yeah, still not sure. But secondly, more importantly, because we are young, we precisely know the pains of social networking, because once it's up there, you can't take it down. And that's the bottom line, because information spreads so quickly, because even when you try and take something down, obviously strange people are able to find information from it, even though you try and keep it as private as possible. And they told us that this reflects ultimately what human beings are like. Well, I don't want to know what the vast majority of human beings are like. I want to know that they are as boring as we might actually think they are. We think that the difference in social media is the proliferation. street at the moment and I shout something, and even if I have a megaphone, that's only ever going to affect a few people around me. If I go and do it on something like Twitter or Facebook or any of the other social networking mediums, then that has a much more substantial effect, which needs to be considered. Well, they told us earlier on that these things happen. That, you know, sometimes you post a photo of your favourite football team's captain that's naked on the internet. And I just want to point out, that doesn't happen to me. And that could be because my captain is Karen Lynn from Geelong. And I'm doing everyone a favour by not posting that. But the idea is that it even become inevitable is so offensive that someone's privacy can be destroyed and shattered in such a way so quickly, no matter how much I might dislike St. no one deserves it. We have this idea just then that this unites people, that we have a Pippa Middleton Appreciation Society. And firstly, my teammates have told me that we're prepared to concede one good example in this debate, and that they're prepared to concede Pippa Middleton. But secondly, we actually think that these types of appreciation societies just build up the hopes and dreams and aspirations of young people across the internet that are looking at photos of them, because they're never going to actually find out what Pippa Middleton's backside is going to be like. She's probably going to walk around in a headed sack for the rest of her life because she feels so offended by the horrible outpouring of objectification that's occurred on the internet. The idea that this was something to celebrate is laughable, even if you're a rose. Let's look at the second idea about whether it is entertaining. And so they told us that it's great to see celebrities online, and sometimes they write funny things, and sometimes they crack on to Shane Warne, like who doesn't, and sometimes, you know, we watch their demise. And it's this idea of a demise that I want to look at, because it's not just Lindsay Lohan's tragic multiple breakups with her girlfriend. It's someone like Charlie Sheen, which I'm surprised hasn't been discussed in this debate so far. But strap yourselves in, because I've got a matter advantage for this. 4 quotes from Charlie Sheen. This just in, another cosmic fastball from the mind of your fat warlock, earn yourself. Quote number 2, fastball, this is a trend. This just in, Thomas Jefferson comes forward to sheepishly admit, Charlie Sheen's right, I am a pussy. Don't think he said that. Quote number 3, the Tigers of the world have issued an apology to Charlie Sheen in a written statement. Quote number 4, because in Twitter you can only post 140 characters, so this thought had to spill over, obviously it's worth sharing. Please forgive us all, the Tigers, for being such blatant imposters. Clearly you, Mr. Sheen, have only the real tiger blood in the known universe. So, I mean, obviously not the unknown universe. He's not that arrogant to presume he has all the tiger blood there. But the point that I'm trying to make here is, what a load of rubbish. What an absolute load of rubbish. And we might have enjoyed seeing it, but that's because it's the signs of a man that's clearly snorted too much coke and has lost his mind, and now that is shared across the internet and can never be taken down. That's not something that society should be celebrating here. Another example is this massive craze of planking. Now, not only have we had, and I know it's funny, but it's also quite tragic because this man has died from it, but not only have we got planking, we've now got the new steps of planking. So we have something called hypotenusing, where you stand up against the wall, and they go back on, which is terrible. We have pillaring, where you stand up straight. We have circumferencing, which requires 2 people, so it's a bit more onerous. We create a circle over that famous height, so we take photos of it. This is the information that is spread by social networking, and that information is not worth spreading. You can't just click on, you can't just ignore it. When you have 937 Facebook friends like me, it's difficult to keep track of all of these people and to click on. So let's look at this final idea of utility. Firstly, they said, well, of course, there's, quality issues with things like Twitter, but, we have Andrew Bolt, so all things are equal. Well, firstly, just as a debating tactic, Andrew Bolt is never a good example to rely upon in debates. But secondly, it's very hard to sue someone for something that happens online. And they can point to examples, but the reality is that they're few and far between. That our laws are underdeveloped in this area, but even if they weren't, the point of these types of sources is that they transcend borders, and so it makes it difficult for the average person to sue for something in those scenarios. We don't think that there is that quality control on content, and that's why these things are so popular, because there are no consequences. The only benefit that they wanted to talk about was revolutions. And the bottom line is that the biggest human rights scandal that has taken place in our living history, and theirs as well, was Tiananmen Square. Something that occurred without social networking, something that occurred just with something like journalists and televisions. Because the point is that Twitter didn't make those revolutions. If anything, it dobbed those poor people in Iran into it when they weren't otherwise going to be tracked down. At the end of this debate, we think social networking has gone too far. It's free speech that has gone mad and is a little bit rabid. So for those reasons, we are very proud. Oh, sorry, I've got a tweet. 1 second. For those reasons, we're very proud